up your YouTube, search for Stukeley Meadows, watch on your big screen.
Or another device if you're at home.
Get yourself comfy, this could take a while. What a happy scene. Something new every day for your long-term memory. This is so exciting, it is nearly time for a Stukeley assembly. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone. It's cold, and welcome to our Wednesday reading assembly. For each other we, every day we, to improve we, together we will. Every single Stukeley day we focus on. Our Stukeley motto is, our Stukeley curriculum is, our Stukeley plan for home learning is, the 4 words that make the magic happen. Yes, they do. Right, everyone, it's Wednesday, it's reading. Not only have we got our double reading, remember, thanks to Mr. Watley, we've got infant reading and we've got junior reading from me. Cheerboo Song or Silence, it's a brand new one. And then we finish with birthdays and everyday knowledge. Okay, first of all, author warm-up. I told you, didn't I, that over Christmas time I went to Charles Dickens' house and it's now a museum. I showed you his writing desk. I showed you his bedroom. I'm now going to show you his dining room. Now, Charles Dickens was alive, born in 1812. You should know that, in Victorian times. And in Victorian times, only adults could eat in the dining room. Children were not allowed to. They had to eat elsewhere. So this dining room here, this picture here that you can see was his dining room, but only he and his wife and friends and adult family members could sit with him in there. Yeah. How about that? Interesting. Anyway, there's a picture of Dickens' dining room. We're now going to go straight into our story. Now remember, you can either choose to go with Mr. Watley, and he does a storybook, a picture book, mainly for Foundation 1 and 2. If you stick with me, we're going for the next part of the 39 steps, which I am loving. Make your choice, follow your story, and I'll see you on the other side with a Cheerboo Song or Silence.
Hello everybody and welcome to another story read by me, Mr. Watley. Today's story is about dinosaurs, which is why I've got some dinosaurs there and a little dinosaur friend who also wants to hear the story, just here. Okay, and the story is written by Julia Donaldson and it's illustrated by David Roberts. It's called Tyrannosaurus Drip. In a swamp beside a river where the land was thick with veg lived a herd of duck-billed dinosaurs who roamed the water's edge. And they hooted up with rivers, and they hooted up with reeds, and they hooted up with bellyfuls of juicy water weeds. Now across the rushy river on a hill the other side lived a mean Tyrannosaurus with his grim and grisly bride, and they shouted up with hunting, and they shouted up with war, and they shouted up with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur. But the 2 Tyrannosauruses, so grisly, mean and grim, couldn't catch the duck-billed dinosaurs because they couldn't swim. And they muttered, down with water, and they muttered, down with wet, and they muttered, what a shame that bridges aren't invented yet. Now a little Compsognathus, but for short we'll call her Comp, found a duckbill egg and stole it from the nest beside the swamp. And she swam with it and ran with it and murmured, clever me! And won't the baby Comps be thrilled with duck-billed egg for tea? She dropped the egg in terror and went running for her life from the mean Tyrannosaurus and his grim and grisly wife. And the duckbill egg went rolling, and at last it came to rest in, of all unlikely places, a Tyrannosaurus nest. Now the mother T had great big jaws and great enormous legs, but her brain was rather little and she couldn't count her eggs, and she sang, "Ouch out my terrors with your scaly little tails and your spiky little toothies and your scary little nails." Out hatched babies 1 and 2 as perfect as could be, but Mother T was horrified by baby number 3, and she grumbled, "He looks weedy," and she grumbled, "He looks weak," and she grumbled, "What long arms, and look, his mouth is like a beak." "He just needs feeding up," said Dad, and gave the babe some meat. The first 2 gulped and guzzled, but the third refused to eat. And he said, "I'm really sorry." And he said, "I simply can't." And he said, "This meat looks horrible. I would rather eat a plant." "A plant?" yelled Mum in horror, and Dad said, "Get a grip." His sisters found a name for him, Tyrannosaurus Drip. And they shouted, "Up with hunting!" And they shouted, "Up with war!" And they shouted, "Up with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur!" Poor Tyrannosaurus Drip tried hard to sing along, but the others yelled, "You silly Drip, you've got it all the words wrong." For he hooted, "Down with hunting!" And he hooted, "Down with war!" And he hooted, "Down with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur!" Drip's sisters soon grew big enough to hunt with Dad and Mum, but they turned on Drip and told him, "You're not fierce enough to come." And he cried, "They've gone without me." And he cried, "Alack a day." And he cried, "This doesn't feel like home. I'm going to run away." So he ran off to the river, where he saw a lovely sight, a herd of duck-billed dinosaurs all hooting with delight. And they hooted, "Up with rivers!" And they hooted, "Up with reeds!" And they hooted, "Up with bellyfuls of juicy water weeds!" And he stood there on the bank. A sudden urge took hold of him, and he jumped into the water and discovered he could swim. And the duckbills came to greet him by the rushy river's edge, and they hooted, "Nice to see you!" And they hooted, "Have some veg!" And Drip, who was delighted that they hadn't run away, ate bellyfuls of water weeds and played with them all day. Then he gazed into the river and he asked them, "Who, oh who, is that creature in the water?" And they laughed and said, "That's you!" There he is. Finally realised he doesn't look like the T-Rexes. That night the lightning crackled and a storm blew down a tree, and it fell across the river, and the T's cried out, "Yippee!" And they shouted, "Up with hunting!" And they shouted, "Up with war!" And they shouted, "Up with bellyfuls of duck-billed dinosaur!" Uh-oh, they can get to the other side now. Drip's sisters stepped onto the bridge, but then began to frown, for there in front of them stood Drip, who yelled, "Look out! Look down!" And they looked into the water, and they each let out a yelp, and one cried, "Water monsters!" And the other one cried, "Help!" Look, it's the first time they've seen their reflection. Their mother scolded, "Nonsense!" And she joined them on the tree. Then she looked into the water and exclaimed, "Goodness gracious me!" The 3 of them stood trembling, and Dad said, "Get a grip. You're all of you as drippy as Tyrannosaurus Drip." He strode onto the bridge and scoffed, "I'll bet there's nothing there." Then he looked into the water and he jumped into the air. Look, there's his reflection. And how the duckbills hooted when he landed with a crash, and the tree bridge broke and 4 Tyrannosauruses went splash. And spluttering and clinging to the branches of the tree, they went whooshing down a waterfall and all the way to sea. And the duckbills hooted happily. They hooted, "Hip, hip, hip! Hooray for the heroic one and only duckbill Drip!" Here we go. I hope you like my story. I've got a T-Rex here and a duck-billed dinosaur. The actual name for a duck-billed dinosaur is something I've actually just forgotten. Parasaurolophus. There we go. It's called a Parasaurolophus. And it's got this really weird shaped crest on its head, which it used to defend itself like this. Normally, although they would try and run away, but if not, it would bash a T-Rex like that and with its head. Brilliant. Well, I hope you enjoy my story. I shall try and have another one ready for next week. Bye-bye.
Okay, next part of the 39 steps. So far, Richard Hannay is the teller of our story. The person telling the story, the first person, is Richard Hannay. He lives in London. Start of the story, a stranger bursts into his flat and says, I need to stay here. I trust you. You can look after me. Mr. Hannay says, what on earth do you mean? What are you doing? This man was called Franklin P. Scudder. And Franklin P. Scudder said, my job is to stop the assassination of the Greek premier, Karolides. So Franklin P. Scudder says, let me hide here. I promise I won't be any bother. Richard Hannay says, I can't believe this. What is going on? Okay, I'll help you. Anyway, then, as we know, Franklin P. Scudder ends up getting murdered. We think he's murdered by the gang called the Black Stone. And the Black Stone are a group of agents. We know their leader has got half a finger on his right hand. Anyway, Franklin P. Scudder's dead. Richard Hannay doesn't really know what's going on. He thinks, I need to get out of here. So he decides to escape. He jumps on the train. He thinks he's being followed. He escapes to Scotland. Problem is, when he's on the run in Scotland, he has to escape from the train because he sees that in a newspaper it said there'd been a murder, and they think that Richard Hannay's done it. They think because he's escaped, he's killed Franklin P. Scudder. Anyway, we finished the story with him escaping the train so far. Next, code breaker. Richard Hannay on the run in Scotland. This is going to be great. There was no time to dwell on what might have been a hasty decision. But now I had jumped from the train and I had to get away. I broke cover and continued my journey across country. Low battery. At about 6 that evening, I came to a rough stretch of road where the welcoming lights of a solitary inn sparkled in the twilight. A good night's rest did wonders for my optimism, and I woke up the next morning and I felt ready to work out Scudder's code. Remember, Richard Hannay has taken the book with the code in, so he's now going to try and crack the code. For the best part of 3 hours, I wrestled with the contents of the little black book until finally I worked it out. What if the words Black Stone were the key words? It's got to be to do with the Black Stone, right? A few minutes frantic scribbling later, and I was proved right. I had found out that the words Black Stone were the key to cracking this code. The code did not make for pleasant reading, though. Scudder believed that Karolides' death would be followed by top secret details of Britain's security being stolen and sold across the sea to France. So Richard Hannay's worked out from the book that Scudder had to stop Karolides getting killed, because if not, all the secrets of our country would be spread. The people that stole those secrets would work with the German government, and because of this victory, Germany would then declare war on Britain. Despite my efforts, the exact meaning of Scudder's notes remained obscure. That means he still couldn't work out the exact meaning. Every now and again, I saw a reference to 39 steps. It kept mentioning these 39 steps. And the last time they were mentioned, it said, I counted them, 10:17 p.m, high tide. So this is a bit weird. He's got the word 39 steps in code, and then it says 39 steps, counted them, 10:17 p.m, high tide. I had no idea how important these words were. Whatever they meant, what I knew was that in my hand, in this little black book, I had secrets that were explosive. I knew things that people needed to know. I had to find the authorities. I had to find the police and let them know. At that moment, I heard a car approaching. I went to the window and saw a big touring car pull up a few hundred yards away. 2 men got out and walked towards the inn. So his heart must be gone. One of the men was squat and muscular. The other one was a tall man. He looked like the man outside my flat at Portland Place when I escaped. I crept along the corridor to the hallway. From there, I could hear what was said in the lobby without being seen. I heard the front door open and the two men entered. They were greeted by the innkeeper, to whom they gave a description of me. These two men are definitely looking for Richard Hannay. They gave him a description of me, and he said that I was in the building. I didn't wait to hear any more. My heart was pounding. I scuttled back to my room, opened the window, and scrambled outside the window. Keeping low, I ran past the inn and jumped into the men's car. I started it, sending a shower of gravel into the air. The men raced after me, and I drove as fast as I could. We're going to stop there. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop there. The next chapter's called Attack from Above. This is a great story. So what have we found out? Richard Hannay's escaped to Scotland. He's worked out the code. It's something to do with a black stone. 39 steps. If they kill Carolides, they're going to get all kinds of secrets. He's now being chased by two men. Great story. Right, okay. Thanks for listening. We are now going to move straight into a brand new, not a brand new person, but a brand new episode of Cheer, Boo, Song or Silence. Check it out.
Will they get to cheer or will they get to boo? With either one there must not be violence. They may well get to song, but it will not last that long. We really hope they do not get silence.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Cheer, Boo, Song or Silence studio. Mr. Partridge is stood just over there and he cannot wait to see what's going to happen. He just told me, please can I be in it next week? No problem. Right, behind the curtain I've got Mrs. Page. Mrs. Page, this is her third time. She's had a song and what's the other one, Mrs. Page? She's had a song and a silence. What's she going to get today? A cheer, a boo, a song, or another silence? What do you think? Oh, come on. Cheer, boo, song, or silence. Right. Out you come, Mrs. Page! Just give her a break, all right? She's a woman on the edge. Okay. See you next time for more Cheer, Boo, Song or Silence.
Will they get to cheer or will they get to boo? With either one there must not be violence. They may well get to song, but it will not last that long. We really hope they do not get silence.
Oh, wasn't that a good one? Wasn't that a good one? Oh, brilliant. I mean, a shame Mrs. Page got a boo, but, you know, you can't win them all. Right, let's finish with birthdays.
Hey, 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 it's time to say we've got a Stukeley birthday. Hey, 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 it's time to say we've got a Stukeley birthday. Oh, come on!
Okay, everybody. Yesterday we said happy birthday to Michelle. Today we say happy birthday to Sunuli in year 3. Sunuli, I don't want to embarrass you, but you are one of the happiest, smiliest, most positive children I know. I hope you have a great day with your family. You work hard, you're kind, and you deserve a great day. Happy birthday, Sunuli. Hopefully lots of fun coming your way today. Keep up the great work. Right, let's finish with everyday knowledge for you.
And we are learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, everyday knowledge for you. And we are learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, everyday knowledge for you.
Okay, so at the moment we're still only really looking at artists and music. I know the artists are a little bit easier to remember, but lots and lots of children and adults finding the music hard. I went into a few classes yesterday. I went into foundation stage, kind of year 1, year 2, and I also did some listening in year 5, 6. Now year 5 were okay, year 6, your music knowledge, not great. In one school anyway, I went into a couple of schools, but in one school, year 6, it wasn't great. So here's what we're going to do. Today, I am going to play the music. This is not going to be the last time, but we're not going to do loads of this. And I'm also going to show you a picture of the composer. I think maybe a picture might help. Anyway, I'm going to play the music. I'm going to tell you about the music. And while I'm doing that, the composer's going to come up on the screen. Okay, so first of all, this piece of music, it's a very gentle piece of music. It was used on the Hovis bread adverts. Your adults, families, I'm sure will remember, and might still be, but I love this tune. It's called the New World Symphony, and it was written by this guy, Antonin Dvorak. He's a Czechoslovakian composer, Antonin Dvorak. This is his tune, brilliant tune. Not sure when he wrote it, but obviously orchestras and other people now perform it. It's a wonderful tune. So this is Dvorak, Czechoslovakian composer, New World Symphony. Okay, now we've got this guy. Now this guy is Rossini. Can't remember his first name. He's an Italian composer, Rossini, and he wrote the William Tell Overture. You can hear it. It's a brilliantly bouncy tune. I love it. I can actually play this on the ukulele a little bit. I mean, it's not great, but this is a great tune. Great tune. Rossini, Italian, William Tell Overture. And finally, I think this is people's favourites. I think just like the anger, the strictness, the kind of the bouncing around. Come on! It's used on the TV show The Apprentice, so loads of your families, adults will know it. It's Dance of the Nights, and it's from the Romeo and Juliet ballet. That's what it's called, and it's written by this guy. Bit of a younger picture, bit of a more recent picture maybe. I don't know when it was written. But this guy, Sergei Prokofiev, fantastic composer, wrote this and many others. So, going to finish there. I'm not going to actually do the fingertips today. We know some art, we know some music. Tomorrow, going to start mixing it up a bit. Tomorrow we're going to start thinking about science. And we're going to start learning something which you definitely do in primary school, but you do lots of it in secondary school. Elements. We're going to talk about elements, and we're going to talk about the periodic table. Big stuff, especially if you're small children, but we're learning to remember things worth remembering. So that's going to start tomorrow. Have a good day, everyone. Just get that music in your soul.